Why it's okay to be different. Being different is often treated like a problem to solve instead of a strength to develop. From childhood, most people are taught, directly or indirectly, that fitting in equals safety, approval, and success. Stand in line. Give the expected answer. Like what others like. Want what others want. The message is subtle but powerful. Normal is good. Different is risky. But history, psychology, and human progress all tell a completely different story. Not only is it okay to be different, it is often the exact reason someone becomes meaningful, fulfilled, or extraordinary. Let's go deeper than the usual be yourself advice, because the real reason difference matters isn't motivational fluff. It's structural. It's psychological. It's evolutionary. It's human. Let's get into it. Difference is where identity actually comes from. If you remove everything that makes you different from others, what remains? Mostly roles. Student, worker, friend, citizen, titles, expectations, scripts. Difference is where identity lives. Your strange interests, the way your brain connects ideas, your unusual reactions, your personal struggles, your specific sensitivities, these aren't defects. They're the raw material of a real person instead of a generic one. Sameness creates function. Difference creates identity. And people don't remember function, they remember identity. Nobody remembers the 1,000 people who did things the expected way. They remember the one who didn't. Psychological truth. Fitting in feels safe, but authenticity creates strength. Humans evolved to fear rejection because thousands of years ago, exclusion from the group meant danger. Your brain still carries that wiring. That's why being different can feel dangerous, even when it isn't. But here's the paradox. Fitting in reduces anxiety in the short term. Being authentic reduces anxiety in the long term. When you constantly adjust yourself to match others, you create a quiet internal tension. Psychologists sometimes call this self-alienation, the gap between who you are and who you perform as. That gap is exhausting. It's why people who seem to have everything sometimes feel empty. They built a life that works socially but doesn't fit internally. Difference removes that gap. When you allow yourself to be different, your brain stops running two versions of you, the real one and the acceptable one. That integration creates a kind of psychological stability that imitation never can. Not confidence, not arrogance, something deeper. Coherence. Every meaningful innovation came from someone who didn't match the pattern. Every major shift in science, art, philosophy, or culture came from people who saw things differently enough to question what everyone else accepted. Difference is not just tolerated in progress. It is required. If everyone thinks the same, nothing new appears, nothing improves, nothing evolves. Biology even shows this. Genetic diversity is what allows species to survive change. Uniform populations collapse faster under stress. Variation creates resilience. Human ideas work the same way. Different thinkers prevent intellectual extinction. So when someone feels out of place, what they may actually be is ahead of their environment rather than behind it. Many people only realize this later in life. What people call weird is often just unrecognized pattern deviation. Weird usually just means unexpected. That's it. Not wrong, not broken, not inferior, just outside prediction. And humans are prediction machines. When someone doesn't match expected patterns, people label instead of investigate. It's cognitive laziness, not deep judgment. Many traits once mocked later became admired. Being quiet becomes thoughtful. Being intense becomes driven. Being sensitive becomes emotionally intelligent. Being stubborn becomes determined. Being different becomes original. Time often rebrands difference as value. The real danger isn't being different, it's suppressing it. Most people don't suffer because they're different. They suffer because they try to erase it. Suppressing difference often leads to chronic self-doubt, imposter syndrome, resentment, emotional numbness, feeling unseen even when surrounded by people. Because deep down they know people are accepting a version of them that isn't fully real. And humans have a deep psychological need not just to be liked, but to be known. You can be accepted and still feel alone if you're not known. Difference is what allows you to be known. Belonging is not the same as fitting in. This is one of the most important distinctions most people never learn. Fitting in equals being accepted because you are similar. Belonging equals being accepted while you are different. Fitting in requires editing yourself. Belonging requires revealing yourself. One is conditional, the other is relational. Real belonging only happens when difference is present, otherwise it's just similarity clustering. Most people are secretly different too. Here's something strange. Almost everyone feels different in some way. But because everyone hides it, everyone thinks they're the only one. It's a silent paradox. A world full of people pretending to be normal while privately feeling unusual. The people who accept their difference often become permission givers. They make it safer for others to drop their own masks. Authenticity spreads socially faster than perfection ever does. Your differences often point toward your direction. What you notice that others don't, what affects you more deeply than others. What you care about that others dismiss, what comes naturally to you but seems hard for others. These are rarely random. They're often directional signals. Many people spend years trying to become good at what they're supposed to be good at, instead of becoming exceptional at what they are naturally inclined toward. Difference often points toward your best work, your real interests, your natural environments, your kind of people. Ignoring it usually leads to average outcomes. Following it often leads to meaningful ones. The cost of being different is visibility. The reward is meaning. Being different does have a cost. Sometimes you get misunderstood. Sometimes you outgrow environments. Sometimes you have to build your own path instead of following one. But the trade-off is this. Ordinary paths offer predictable approval. Original paths offer personal meaning. And meaning sustains people far longer than approval does. Approval fades quickly because it depends on others constantly renewing it. Meaning sustains because it comes from alignment. The people who change your life are rarely the most normal ones. Think about the people who truly impact others. The teacher who thought differently. The friend who saw the world differently. The artist who expressed something others couldn't say. The thinker who asked uncomfortable questions. Difference is often what makes someone useful to others, not what separates them from others. Your perspective might be exactly what someone else needs to hear because they can't see it themselves. Being different isn't something you need permission for. You don't graduate into being allowed to be yourself. You don't reach a level where difference becomes officially approved. Most people who eventually embrace their difference realize something uncomfortable. Nobody was ever going to come validate it first. They had to risk being themselves before they were understood. Understanding usually follows expression, not the other way around. The real shift, difference stops feeling like a flaw when you stop measuring yourself against averages. Averages are statistical tools, not life instructions. If you measure a fish against a tree climbing average, it will always look like a failure. Difference becomes painful mainly when judged in the wrong comparison group. Many people aren't in the wrong life because they're incapable. They're in the wrong life because they're mismeasured. The deeper truth, being different is not something you need to justify. It's the default state of every human who isn't performing a role. No two minds process the world identically. No two personalities are arranged the same way. No two life experiences create the same internal map. Difference isn't the exception. It's the baseline reality that social pressure tries to compress. And often, the moment people stop trying to become acceptable copies is the moment they start becoming interesting originals. If there is one thing worth remembering, it might be this. Normal is something people perform. Different is what they are. And the people who eventually live the most grounded, meaningful lives are usually not the ones who succeeded at being the most acceptable version of a person, but the ones who became the most accurate version of themselves. Leave us a comment with your thoughts on this. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and see you all next time.